This video is brought to you by Cool Green Clothing.
I'm switching lanes so much, man. They can never get behind me, man. Yeah, I'm taking it all away, man. I ain't playing with them, man. One thing is the key, man. It's consistency, man. It don't matter, man, how good the product is, man. If you ain't out there, man, to get rid of it, man, the supply to demand, man, you going down, man. You in it for nothing, man. Get with me, man. I'm starting a whole league, man. Get with me, man. Get with the winning team, man. Cool Green Clothing. We going all the way, and we coming straight out of Baltimore.
What's up, YouTube fam? It's your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 times, and I'm back with another video. In this episode of the Baltimore Way, we'll discuss the tragic story of a daycare worker who pled guilty to the unthinkable that was all caught on camera. Before we get into this video, please don't forget to subscribe if you're new to our channel. Go ahead and click that notification bell to get notified every time we upload. If you're rocking with the content, smash that like button. Feel free to share this video with everyone you know. Make sure you watch until the end to hear the full story. All right, let's get right into it. When I worked at a childcare center a few years back, I started off as an admin assistant. I would sometimes cover for the teachers while they went to lunch or took bathroom breaks. Usually, I would cover the 1-year-old class, and I absolutely fell in love with being in the classroom. Eventually, I became the 1-year-old teacher for almost a year. I fell in love with all my students. Teaching them, watching them learn and grow every weekday. It was fulfilling, to say the least. I felt a great sense of purpose in that position. However, there were days that it wasn't always easy dealing with 13 1-year-olds. I had an assistant, but it was challenging some days. But the joy of teaching outweighed the frustration I experienced. However, for former daycare worker Leah Walden, the pressure became too much to handle and she snapped. Leah Walden worked at Rocketeers Learning Center in East Baltimore. Her profile on the daycare's website once read, "I have 1 year of professional childcare experience and 6 years of part-time babysitting. I am currently a senior staff teacher in the Gentle Strokes 2 class, and I really enjoy it." Her profile went on to say that she loved seeing the children develop new skills like sitting up, crawling, and walking. She said in her bio that the best part of being an infant teacher is caring for babies who loved her as much as she loved them. Leah concluded with, "This has been the most rewarding experience for me." By 2017, Leah had been working for the daycare for a little over 2 years. One day in May 2017, Leah Walden returned back from her lunch during her shift at the daycare. Leah was assigned to a room where 2 infants were getting ready for nap time. One of the infants was 8-month-old Reese Bowman. Things took a terrible turn though as the day went on. Emergency services were called to the Rocketeers Learning Center at around 3:20 p.m. that day after a report of a baby not breathing. CPR was immediately administered to the baby by medics. However, despite efforts of doctors and paramedics, the child, identified as Reese Bowman, died a short while later, according to news reports. According to the police, the baby had no visible signs of trauma. The cause of death was reported as suffocation. The person who found baby Reese unresponsive was daycare worker Leah Walden, who was 23 at the time. Leah told officials that she had fed the baby, wrapped her in a blanket, and put her in a crib for nap before coming back 45 minutes later to find baby Reese motionless. However, CCTV footage given to police by the daycare officials told a completely different story. Leah Walden was accused of causing baby Reese's fatal injuries. The other child who was in the same room was not harmed. Police said other people were at the daycare working that day, but Leah Walden was in the room alone with the two babies. Leah was arrested and charged with 9 charges, including first and second degree murder, first and second degree assault, second degree abuse, and reckless endangerment. A motive was unknown at the time, but it appeared that baby Reese was awake at the time of the incident. Reese Bowman's family mourned her loss along with the community. A memorial for Reese was set up in front of the daycare, where operations were suspended during the investigation. At Leah's bail hearing, prosecutors in the case claimed Leah may have had thoughts of taking her own life weeks prior to the horrific incident. Prosecutors went on to say that Leah Walden had pretended that the baby in her care died accidentally, possibly from crib death or choking. According to court charging documents, the CCTV video captured a person believed to be Leah Walden taking excessive blankets and a pillow and covering the baby's face and head and violently handling and shaking the 8-month-old. Even at one point pushing her back down in the crib and swinging as if she was going to hit the child and ultimately physically hitting the baby. At some points in the footage, it showed Leah taking the infant outside the view of cameras. The heinous acts went on for approximately 20 minutes, with homicide detectives calling it torture. The judge considered Leah Walden a threat to others and denied her bail. At a hearing in July 2017 on whether the daycare could reopen, the center's director admitted in court that Leah was not legally qualified to be left alone with infants, but it had happened several times. Leah was supposed to be supervised. Investigators also found out that Leah had not completed a 45-hour course and did not have the proper credentials to be in the position she was in. The daycare never reopened after its suspension. Over a year later, in November 2018, Leah Walden, then 24, accepted a plea deal. She pleaded guilty to first-degree murder. Leah was in shackles and a jail sweatshirt as the judge told her to speak up as she pled guilty. She admitted that she willfully and deliberately caused baby Reese's death. However, she said she never wanted that to happen. Leah Walden tried to explain her actions by saying she had snapped and had not been given proper training or assistance for her job. Prosecutors said Leah had told a co-worker, "Girl, I'm frustrated. I'm sick of this little B word. I hate this little B word. She makes me want to punch her in the face." During the 2-hour plea hearing, the CCTV footage was played in court. It showed the baby kicking wildly as the upset daycare worker smothered her with a blanket. There were sobs heard throughout the courtroom. According to reports, that day in court was very emotional. Even the judge cried after watching the footage of the grisly incident. The judge had to compose herself as she addressed the court. The judge asked Leah, "You thought about it, even though it might have been brief. Do you understand that?" Leah replied yes as she cried. The judge sentenced Leah to life in prison with any time beyond 70 years suspended. Under the plea agreement and sentencing, she will be eligible for parole when she's 59 years old. Leah apologized to the family for what she had done and asked for their forgiveness. Leah's sister also spoke on her behalf, saying that her sister was not a monster. She's not an evil person. She was frustrated. She also apologized to the family. Reese Bowman's father told the court that his family left their jobs and moved from Baltimore after their baby girl's passing. The family also told the court that Reese's older brother was also at the daycare the day she was slain. According to reports, the Bowman's baby girl was the first girl to be born into the family in 47 years. Reese Bowman was a very special little girl whose life was just ripped from her. My sincerest and most heartfelt condolences to the family. I hope their healing process has been progressive and comforting. I am so sorry for their loss. May Reese Bowman rest in peace. This story was so hard to get through without tearing up, fam. As a former childcare worker, I could absolutely understand the pressures of the job and how caring for multiple, let alone one child, can be overwhelming. However, as much as I blame Leah Walden for this tragic incident, I very much hold the daycare facility accountable. Some of these childcare centers out here cut a lot of corners when it comes to certain protocols and procedures. And I can't believe they cut corners like that when dealing with people's children. That's the reason why I left the facility I was working for, because they cut a lot of corners on training, safety, and issues with teacher burnout. I loved the kids, but the facility itself was just horrible. I turned as many parents away from there as possible, especially when I decided to leave. So yeah, fam, be careful where you leave your children. And to all my daycare workers, let this be a cautionary tale. This was such an unfortunate story, and I pray for all who were involved and impacted by this incident. All right, fam, tell me what you think about this tragic story down in the comments below. Who do you think is to blame more, the daycare worker or the daycare officials, or both? Could this have been prevented? Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments. All right, fam, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 Times, and I'm out.